Hello everyone, my name is Cyrus, and welcome to the Cyrus Sasuke 24 course demonstration. I'll be going over the first 3 stages of this tournament, starting with stage 1. Our competitors will have 9 obstacles in 100 seconds. The first obstacle is the shrinking steps. The steps have been reduced to 5, and they are a different shape as opposed to the last tournament. And a tip on this one is go on your first jump. You don't want to be hanging around on these steps, considering that the steps are slippery. After that, we have a new obstacle, the plank jump. You just got to jump across the 4 planks without falling. A tip on this one is jump immediately. They will fall as soon as you touch them. After that, it's the returning double dipper from Tournament 22. A tip on this one is stay in the center of the bar. You don't want the bar to go crooked, otherwise it will mess up your jump and timing. After that, it's the modified jumping spider. The layout of the spider has been changed to have 7 ledges as opposed to 6 and has been made a lot more difficult. A tip on this one is just take your time. You don't want to rush these jumps because otherwise you're going to mess up your timing and you're going to fall into that water. After that, it's the returning stomach churn. You need to go across the 5 gears and then grab a rope and then swing it to the safety platform. A tip on this one is control your jump. You want to make sure that you're in the right position because if you are not, you will spin out of contention. After that, it's everyone's favorite iconic obstacle, the warp wall. Just get up the wall. A tip on this one is stay in the center of the wall because if you're lower down, you're not going to make it up. After that, it's the returning spin bridge where you can use one of 2 techniques. You can either spin the ball like I'm doing here, or you can just jump across all 4 and hope that you don't fail. But I recommend using my technique. It's way better and way safer, while the other one is a lot more riskier indeed. A tip on this one, if you are using my technique, is keep the ball spinning. You don't want to lose momentum and lose your hopes of failing. After that, it's the same old Tarzan rope, just use the rope and then land on the safety platform. A tip on this one is stay in the center. You don't want to go too far, otherwise you're going to fall off. After that, it's the final obstacle, the double lumberjack climb, which has been made a lot more difficult. The second one has more outer ledges. A tip on this one is stay calm and take your time. The second one has a lot more harder ledges going out, and you want to make sure that you do all of them correctly. And if our competitors can hit the buzzer in under 100 seconds, they will move on to the second stage. With that said, let's take a look at stage 2 to see what we have in store. The second stage contains 6 obstacles that must be completed in under 90 seconds. The first obstacle is the double circle slider. You gotta jump to the 2 rings. A tip on this one is jump early. You don't want to be hanging around. Then it's the buffed double salmon ladder. The rungs have been made a little bit more higher, so it's a lot more harder to get to the top. A tip on this one is don't go fast. There is a 1-second jump delay, so I recommend you take your time, otherwise the 1-second jump delay will happen. After that, it's the buffed air surfer. The jumps have been made a little bit more difficult, so hopefully our competitors will handle that. A tip on this one is get momentum. You want to make sure you back up your board so you can get enough momentum to make it to the other side. After that, it's a brand new obstacle, the evolving boulder. You need to jump onto this ball and make sure it's going the correct way, because if it goes the wrong way, you're going to fall in the water and lose your dreams. A tip on this one is be on the back of the ball. You want to make sure you slow the ball down so you can get in the correct position so you can make it to the other side of the platform. After that, it's the WINGNUTS returning from Tournament 22. You need to use the 6 WINGNUTS and take a few swings in order to make it to the other side without falling into the water below. A tip on this one is take 2 to 4 swings on each wingnut. If you use 1, you're going to undershoot it, and if you use 5 or above, you're going to get way too much height and fall into the water below. If you can make the dismount, you'll move on to the final obstacle, which is the same old wall lift, just the colors have been changed. It's pretty simple. All you have to do is just move your camera around. It's really not that difficult. And if you can lift up the 3 walls and get to the end and hit the buzzer in under 90 seconds, you'll move on to stage 3. Now let's take a look at the third stage. The third stage has 7 ridiculous obstacles with no time limit. The first obstacle is the flying bar, which has now been moved to the first obstacle. just jump the bar across the 4 cradles and then make the really difficult dismount platform. A tip on this obstacle is make sure you're getting momentum, because if you don't, you're going to undershoot those jumps and fall into the water below. After that, it's a brand new obstacle, the Lamp Grasper. 9 lamps/globes that you need to go up, but they are ascending and you need to be careful because you might fail. A tip on this obstacle is get a run-up for each of the jumps, because if you don't, you're going to fall in the water and you're going to fail. But there is slope, so be careful. After that, it's the window hang, which has now been moved to the 3rd obstacle. Just go around the 8 windows without falling into the water, and make sure that you just don't miss one of these jumps, because if you do, you're going to fail the window hang. So just don't. A tip on this obstacle is don't hit your head. You want to be careful on this obstacle, because if you misjudge anything, you're going to hit your head, or you're just not going to get a jump at all. So be careful. I advise you to be careful. After that, it's the buffed ultimate cliffhanger. Some of the ledges have been changed, and they have been made a lot more difficult and harder. A tip on this obstacle is make sure you're jumping at the very edge of the ledge. You want to make sure that you're getting just the right amount, and hopefully you'll end on the other side of the platform. After that, it's the Trust Junction, which has now been moved to the 5th obstacle, and it's also harder because now you have to ladder flick your way across and hope that you just don't make a misjudge. A tip on this obstacle is when you're ladder flicking, make sure you angle your character, because if you don't, you're probably going to fail, unless if you're a JTO player. So just make sure you be careful and just don't fall off the trusses, please. I advise you to be careful, because this is the 3rd stage after all. After that, it's the buffed Boardwalk High. Our competitors need to go up the structure without falling off. Some of the ledges have been made a little bit more difficult by making them thinner and a lot more challenging. A tip on this obstacle is to stay calm and don't panic, because if they panic, they're probably going to fail and they're going to lose contention. So make sure you just stay calm and stay relaxed, and make sure that you get all these jumps perfect, because if you do, you will make it to the final obstacle of stage 3, and if you can get past all that and get onto the rest bar, you will take on the final obstacle of the 3rd stage, which is the pipe slider. Just push the pipe to the end of the track and then make the final jump. It has been made harder because there are now 2 little notches that you have to keep the bar in, otherwise you will be disqualified if you do not jump from those 2 little markers. A tip on this one is just don't jump too late, otherwise you're going to pull a min from 23. And if our competitors can make it to the end in no time limit, they will become the 6th ever Cyrus Sasuke finalist, and they will climb the tower. Thank you all so much for watching this demonstration video, and I have a quick little announcement. Cyrus Sasuke Tournament 24 will now be moved to the 24th of June, and will end a week later at the current end date. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time for Cyrus Sasuke Tournament 24.